All right. Hey, Oren, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you. How are you?
Congratulations on passing PMP exam. Great achievement. How are you feeling?
Eh, On to the other task. All is good. It was a lot of work, but it was fun.
All right. Great, great. Let's talk about your professional background. I know you have a lot of experience. That would be really helpful for the people who are watching this. How important is having professional experience? Let's just talk about your professional background.
Yeah, and so I work in a hospital in Canada, and really, uh, I can't say it prepared me for the PMP, any of the project works, because it's very different world. It's not construction, it's a different language, hospital, and in Canada, it's not for profit. So it's very different, but it's still projects. You still need to accomplish things. And no, it was interesting. I'm not sure what else you're hoping there, but most of, I think when we spoke in the past, I did do a PhD, and that also doesn't quite prepare for the project management. It's again research, root cause analysis, but in different languages, not in the project management language or processes.
All right, great, great. And how did you start your preparation? What is your exam preparation strategy?
Once I decided to, which I really don't know why, but I decided to do the course and to learn a bit more project management. It really wasn't needed for my job or where I'm going or anything like that. It was just out of interest. So I did the course, which was a good baseline for me, I would say. Language introduction, or language project management language introduction, I should say. So that was good, but really, I didn't think I was ready for the exam after the course. So maybe if somebody works in construction and uses the same processes regularly, it's different. But no, I ended up buying 4 other books. I read each one once. Can't say I remember any of it, but um, I really went back to pretending to be a bachelor degree level student, studying when I can. I did a lot of exam questions online. Your exam prep question time didn't really work for me. The hours weren't right, but while you were posting them initially, I think for a while there you weren't posting them. So I'd go back to it and do that then edition, and that was good. And then I don't know, there's this book, the guy that started Scrum, Sutherland something, he has a book that I listened to when I had to drive places. So once you get through his very I won't say it if this is online, but anyway, he did a good description of Scrum and Agile, which was really good to learn. And then, yeah, just reviewed the questions over and over and over again. And then I did go back to your notes. When you did your course, I wrote my own notes because that's how I learn. And then I typed them into a computer. So I really repeated them 3 times. So that was a good summary right before the exam. And then really should have practiced my speed reading for the exam because I ran out of time probably for the last 15 questions. But when I got my mark on the report, I did actually above target. So that was good too.
Great, great. So your experience actually helped.
The hospital experience, not, but my experience as a student.
As
Because really, I put a lot of time. My family and friends were laughing at me at how much time I put into it. When I had time, I did 2, 3 hours in the evening. On weekends, I did about 7, 8 hours. The 2, 3 weekends before the exam. So I booked it a month ahead, so I know, because I know I'm a slow reader. So I wanted to make sure I had time for that. No,
how
I
much
think
time?
the course in February. I think I took it with you.
Yeah.
And now I wrote in it in April. So actually a month and a half or 2 months almost, because I knew I was slow. So I wanted to give myself time.
Right. So you prepared for around 1.5 or 2 months and dedicatedly uh, around 10 to 15 hours a week.
Yeah, something like that. Because I wanted, it's a financial investment.
Yeah.
It passing it really doesn't change anything in my life at this point. Luckily, I also don't have issues really with self-esteem if I failed it. But still, it's an investment. You want to do well and whatever. So, yeah. So it's actually, and I did it at a station. I didn't do it from home. I went to a testing center. Actually, that was one of the recommendations you had,
Yeah.
which I thought, oh, that makes sense because, if there's computer problems, whatever, I don't need to, it's one thing less to worry about. So
Yes.
I took that
Mhm.
recommendation from you.
Yes, some of the students they reported that they had a problem during the online exam. So that's why I suggest if it is convenient for you to go to the center, then prefer going to center. Otherwise, there could be some problem during the online exam.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
For me, it was very actually convenient. It was a 5-minute walk from my house by chance.
Oh,
So that was very convenient.
all right, all right, great. So, did you read any book, or you could recall the name of the book?
Yeah, I actually I got everything ready in case you asked me that.
Great.
So I know you gave out or we had access through your course to the PMP exam prep by
Yeah,
Rita. So I actually ended up buying it
right, great.
because I said, I want to make sure I have that. And then I read the process group practice one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I read the Agile, which I really didn't like that book. I didn't find it very useful, but
Right,
Agile is such a big part of the exam now. Uh, Really, that I don't have the name of that book. That I got that book off of Audible. It was the Scrum book
right.
by Sutherland. Again, I didn't like a lot of what he said, but it was a really good description of Scrum, and then I got the PM book, seventh edition. Yeah, so I invested. So if anybody wants to buy the books now, they're for sale. But no,
Is there
so,
anything that you couldn't study?
sorry.
Is there anything that couldn't study? Any book? You have read a lot of books.
Well, I can't say I remember them. The really the main thing that helped me consolidate knowledge was the exam questions that I practiced, and then the first time I did. Oh, another thing I did pay for the online quiz and flashcards from whatever that company is, and those who write the PMP exam prep. So I did the online that. I got 58 on my trial there, but that was a fail. But it was good in preparing me to know what to focus on. Yeah, so just exam questions, the courses helped, and really not being arrogant and working hard.
Good. And did you uh, track your score during the mock exams? Like, what was the average percentage?
No, that's too much work.
Too much work.
But I did it again because I did 400 or 500 exams or questions. I did them most of the time in chunks in 10 because, when I did the mock real exam, I did do the 4 hours straight so I could feel what it is, so I can be prepared. But then I knew how many I got wrong. So on average during my practice, I anywhere between most of the time 6 to 9 I got right. So that's when I said, okay, you know what, I can handle it. Um, so then yeah, but my first time I did the exam, it was a 58. So that was okay. I need to really put more work on that.
All right, all right. Great. And how did you manage time during the real test?
Well, one I knew, and I think again that was some advice you had. I knew make sure I take my breaks. I had in the center you need to go and you had I had a locker there, so I had a snack. They had water there, washroom. Um, I find that I don't know why they put so many unrelated words. So, again, I read slowly. I can't read fast. And really that doesn't test my knowledge of the topic. It just tests my reading skills. So I thought I didn't really look at the clock too much, which probably maybe I should have, but I tried to aim for, because there's the 60 questions, just divide it in thirds. So take a break when we're done. But yeah, I did run out of time at the end, and I guess I guessed correctly if I did score above average or whatever it was, but or I got all the other ones well before.
How many
But
questions you were not able to answer?
I think 5 at the end, I just it cut me off that I didn't answer. But really, the last 10, I just looked for keywords and then I guess the best answer because I really didn't have time to read them properly. So I would say the last 15 were an issue. Uh, but yeah, need to read faster. That would help.
Yeah, right, right. And what was the exam distribution in terms of agile versus waterfall, if you could broadly explain?
I would say it was probably mostly agile,
Mhm.
60%,
Right.
40%. Even the waterfall, it wasn't as much. They probably were 10, 15 questions of the what comes next type of thing from waterfall, but not a lot. Um, but a lot of agile, a lot of conflict resolution. I think you posted one of your, because I did follow your LinkedIn or whatever, you had a sample 20 things,
Yeah,
I think after you spoke to somebody. So I that was pretty accurate. So I even though I couldn't join your sessions, I was getting, and I appreciate all the information that you posted, and I printed it out and I made notes on it. So it was very helpful. Although I didn't read, you posted a couple articles, I guess, that I didn't read. I thought because I got to a point where I really needed to know the stuff for the exam, not more knowledge
yeah.
afterwards. But that was really a lot of what you posted was very helpful.
All right, all right. And did you see any question where you had to do some calculations?
No calculations.
No calculations.
No, there were a few where you had to kind of move the boxes
Hmm.
for different things, but there were no calculations.
All right. And how many drag and drop questions you had where you had to move the boxes?
Less than 5.
Less than five. And were those challenging, easier, or what?
I think they were actually fair. So if somebody prepared, they would know them. There's here and there was a bit tricky language, but I can't say I really beyond the too many words and questions, I can't say it wasn't a fair exam, if that makes sense. So I think if somebody prepares, they would know it. I can't say it was too tricky if you're prepared.
Right. And you have gone through the entire process, and I'm really impressed. You're quite studious. You have done extensive studies, read various books, and solved mock exam, and then passed exam with above target. Do you think that this course and this certification really adds value in terms of learning and development?
Well, I enjoyed it, so it's hard to say because again, it doesn't affect what I do for a living, career, or anything like that. Um, but I will try to use some of the project management techniques to manage my kids, see if it works. Because it was useful. And I think that's why I enjoyed it, because those are life skills. It helps organize things. In terms of changing my future, I don't think, who knows? Nobody knows the future, but it was, for me, it was a worthwhile adventure.
Right, absolutely. Because I asked this question, especially people who are thinking to write the exam, they should know what value this course would bring for them. It's not
Yeah,
just a piece of paper or a certificate, it brings
yeah,
a lot of value in terms of learning and skill set.
yeah, yeah. And I work, even though I did retire, I did get I actually joined a group moving a hospital from one building from an old building to a new building, and there's a lot of project managers there. I've never I didn't before I took the course, I didn't even know really it existed, and then suddenly there's about 50 of them around me, and definitely people say the certification of PMP makes a difference for them, and how far they can go. For me, not, because I work in the hospital system, but for them, construction,
Yeah.
other things, that it definitely makes a big difference.
All right. Thank you. And what would you advise to someone who has just started their preparation? What they should do?
Well, really, unless they know the language and everything, uh, and they're lucky, then they don't need to study. But in my opinion, you get what you put into it. Right? I maybe worked a lot more than most people, but I also was full-time working while I do that, and a parent and whatever. Uh, so no, it's a lot of work, but study, and then you enjoy it more once it's done. So yeah,
All right. Last question. Was the exam difficult?
I think for me it was the reading that was the hard part, but not the content.
All right.
Um, they do try to trick you. Again, that doesn't mean that uh, that really examines knowledge, but they try. It's really hard to extract understanding without complex questions. But I can't say it wasn't fair. I didn't feel like they were out to fail me.
Yeah.
I think that they did as good as could be to try and extract the knowledge. So it was fair, but I also put a lot more time in than maybe others could. I don't know. But
All right. And how important was the course, 4 days long course for during the entire journey?
for me, it was very helpful. Again, as I told you before, I didn't know the project management language, even though I've done a lot. So for me, it was very helpful, but it definitely wasn't enough to get me ready. Uh, but but again, I don't think the expectation is that somebody's 100% ready for the exam just from a 4-day course if they've never worked in that language world before.
Yeah.
For some people, maybe they are, and that's okay. But for me, it definitely wasn't.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Oren. I think we have covered everything that could be useful for students. And thanks again for being agile, right? We were,
Yeah.
figuring out the time, and we planned a couple of days ago, but I couldn't make it. Then you adjusted. Thank you so much. We
Uh,
study rather than doing agile, we should be agile. And you are the example of being agile. Thank you.
well, that's what it's all about. Yeah, even in a waterfall style project where I'm helping on now, moving a hospital, really you can't be fixed on anything.
Yeah,
Uh, Otherwise, it really doesn't work. Even within the waterfall, right? We have our little agile circles. So
absolutely.
that's just the reality, and that's life.
Aaron, thank you so much for your time,
Thank you.
for
Good
all the
luck for
lessons.
you with your studies and everything.
Thank you so much. Take good care of yourself, and we will be in touch.
Yeah, take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.